Welcome to the Heart for God podcast. With many years of experience pastoring and helping to start churches, Dr. Jim Townsley has some practical and biblical advice that can be a great help to you and your ministry. On this podcast, Dr. Townsley and other guests with special expertise cover a variety of topics. His goal is to help you lead your church to be a healthy, strong, and balanced ministry, and for your family to be happy, healthy, and living for the Lord.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. And I have with me a guest. That's Matthew Nettesheim. Did I say that right?
That was close. That's close.
How do you say it?
Nettesheim.
Nettesheim.
But people call me Nettesheim, Netteslime, anything.
And boy, what a blessing to be with him this weekend. And we're doing a church review, and I'm just blessed to see this work and ministry. Chesapeake Baptist Church in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yes, sir. Chesapeake, Virginia, right here on the East Coast.
And you took over this work that was very small. It was your first church.
Yes, sir. 2009, the Lord allowed my family and I to come here. And truly it's a miracle. I had never pastored before. I taught Sunday school and led music, but the Lord opened the door and got voted in, 100% of the vote, 14 members, and almost immediately doubled the church attendance just with my family.
So tell me about your family.
Well, I have an amazing wife. My dear wife Mandy and I met in the year 2000, and she was from Oklahoma, had been married, and her husband got killed in a car accident, and she was a widow with 3 young children, and the Lord just put us together, and we've had 9 children together, so a total of 12, and just an amazing woman.
So there's no more on the way, I don't think. I think that's it, right?
No, the crazy thing is our oldest is 30. He started a church down in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Pastor Jonathan Nettesheim, and my youngest is 4 years old, little Amos.
26 years apart.
26 years apart. And so I've got 6 children in the house, and I've got 18 grandchildren, and it's the joy of serving the Lord with our family, and they're all currently right now in church living for God. I'm thankful for that.
Well, let me just say, if you're ever in this area, you'd want to visit this church. It's an amazing place. They've added more buildings and just a beautiful auditorium. They have a tremendous music program and just some strong, mature Christians doing a great job starting churches out of here. One of the things I want to talk to you about, though, you never actually went to Bible college, did you?
I did not go to Bible college. We had a local Bible institute. It wasn't even really organized very well, but it was just the church that I was a part of, East Coast Baptist Church in Virginia Beach years ago. They would get together a certain night a week, and we'd have classes on music, we'd have classes on church history, and just a small handful of people. But it was an amazing, education, though it wasn't the typical Bible college. But it was actually amazing because, being a part of a local church, and a lot of the training I got was my pastor told me he allowed me to teach a Sunday school class. And I remember getting to teach a couples class, and he said, this is like pastoring a church, but you don't have to worry about the bills. And he said, you need to go after people, try to build this class and reach people, and then teach them the Word of God. And I didn't realize it at the time, but that Bible Institute, teaching that Sunday school class was my education. And I did miss out on some of the doctrinal classes, but man, that Bible Institute and just working and serving the local church was amazing.
So you were how old when you got saved, and how old were you when you kind of started working for this church? And
that's a good question, Pastor Townsley. And I got saved when I was 19. I was in the Navy, and there was a church in Indiana that had a bus ministry that reached me through their sailor ministry. Got gloriously saved, and just a young guy, didn't know anything, and that transferred me to the Navy, transferred me to the region of Norfolk, Virginia, and just part of that church for 14 years. I got out of the Navy, and I thought I was going to go off to Bible college, and my pastor, he said, why don't you stay here, start a business, and come to our Bible Institute. And over the next 9 years, I ran different businesses, from a roofing business to eventually where I bought a bunch of laundromats in the area, and just raised my family and served in the church. And a lot of those years, I felt second rate in some ways, not having gone to Bible college, because I knew everybody at Bible college got the perfect education and knew a whole lot more than me. And so I felt inadequate sometimes serving the Lord. But then I realized that in some ways, everybody's path's a little bit different, and God's will for me was running a business and working in the church and going to that Bible Institute, and His plan is always better than my own will, you might say.
So how old were you when you came to, then it was Grace Baptist before it became Chesapeake Baptist. How old were you when you came here?
I was 34 years old, and I thought at that time, I look back and I was so young. But back then I thought I was so old. Yeah. And I've been here now for 15 years, and we've had revival for these 15 years, and it's just a glorious opportunity to serve the Lord. I love the ministry, and your church ministry that you're doing, Pastor Townsley, where you come in here as a consultant, and you spend these 3 days at really looking and seeing. It's an absolutely amazing ministry, because you see things that, because I'm in the ministry here, and I miss, and it's been such a profitable 3 days with your 50 years of experience, and I really, really appreciate all that you're doing here. You've helped me in a great way. Thank you for that.
It's certainly been a blessing to be here and see what you're doing, and I wanted people to hear the fact that there are different paths for people, and because we have such a need for people in the ministry, there might be someone. If you're just out of high school, probably you should go to Bible college. If you have that opportunity, probably you should do that. But if you're older and you think, I don't know, I've got to uproot my family, I've got to go somewhere, there may be another alternative way where it might work better, or going to a Bible Institute. And even though we have a Bible college, I realize that's not absolutely necessary for every person. And part of the education is when you're actually there doing it, you're in the ministry. But for young people, I think most cases that they ought to go to Bible college if they can and have that opportunity. But for someone out there, you might be older. A relative of mine recently, they must be, I would say, 65 years old, has been retired from the military, did subcontracting for the military, had a great job, and just got approved as a missionary to the military.
Wow.
At 65 years of age.
Wow.
And I think we've got to start thinking a little more that way, because we don't have enough young people surrendering to the ministry to fill the pulpits and to replace the missionaries that are coming off the field and retiring from their church. So I admire what you have done. God has enormously blessed you here. You have a great family. They're involved in the ministry. You have great people. It doesn't mean everything's perfect, but this is a unique ministry, and there aren't many churches like this. So I commend you on what you're doing here.
Well, it's been a blessing, and that Bible Institute made such an impact on me personally. We started a Bible Institute back in 2016. And we meet in the fall and in the spring, and 3 or 4 Monday nights, and we have different pastors and church planters. But out of that, we've started 6 different churches, and we've had 7 of the men that went out of there that are in the ministry and working. And it's just truly a miracle, and it can work. It can work.
Plus, your church has really taken a major interest in all those church plants, financially and other ways, supporting those ministries.
Yes, and it's a sort of a unique ministry for our church. We're a church that believes in planting churches, and it's a joy. Here in the Hampton Roads, we're trying to reseed this area with Bible-believing, soul-winning, just conservative, fundamental churches. And so the churches that we plant are here locally, and sort of the Shubal Stearns model where they go out of your church and the church helps them. And it's amazing. I remember reading about Shubal Stearns in 1755, and over a 25-year period, Shubal Stearns out of Sandy Creek, North Carolina, their church got to see plant churches that planted churches, and over that 25-year period, over 1,000 churches got started. And then I started to look at the time frame right there, Pastor Townsley. The population of the United States back in 1775, right before the Revolutionary War, it wasn't the United States, but that area was 1.8 million people, and 1,000 Bible-believing Baptist churches in a population of 1.8 million would affect so many different aspects of government and so on and so forth. And Hampton Roads here is 1.8 million people. You know, if we planted 1,000 churches here locally, we might impact the politics and everything of it. There's just such a need for Bible-believing churches. That's what I was trying to say.
Sure. There really is, and that's an interesting way to look at it. And on top of that, the churches that were started by Shubal Stearns had second and third generation churches started. Some say as many as 3,000 churches were started as a result of his effort. Several years ago, 2 or 3 years ago at least, there was an article in the U.S. News Report, and they had a map with lights or dots where all the Baptist churches were. And they are where Shubal Stearns ministered, and many of them were, not all of them, but many of them were a result of his effort.
The Bible Belt is really, it's the fruit of the Shubal Stearns, the separate Baptist church planting movement. They changed the nation, and we have a lot of our freedoms today, I believe, because of church planting here in the early stages of the United States. We're so blessed to live in America.
Sure, and that's true. The Second Amendment, without John Leland, one of those early Baptists, I don't know if the Second Amendment would be there. The First Amendment would be there, of the separation where the church would no longer be a state church.
Yeah, and I think that was John Madison meeting with John Leland.
James Madison with John Leland.
Madison, yes. And, that whole opportunity, and that he got the separate Baptists on board of Virginia and North Carolina, and they said they would support the Constitution if they had some amendments, and Amendment number 1. And so, man, we're blessed. And so, I want to encourage people, and first of all, pastors. Boy, the opportunity we have to maybe plant some churches and do something to plant churches. Then there's some folks that may be out there that it may even be older that have thought about pastoring. There's such a need, Pastor Townsley, such a need, and God can use people.
Yes, that's so true. Well, you're doing it, and we need more people doing it. That's the bottom line. So maybe someone will listen to this podcast and pick up on it and say, you know what, maybe that's something I could do. Or a pastor says, you know what, we need to put more emphasis on training our young people, and young men, maybe in their 20s or 30s, that they would surrender and say, look, I want to commit my life, and I think God could use me.
Could I ask you a question? You, Pastor Townsley, Central Baptist Church, Southington, Connecticut, you've devoted your life to leading your church planter. You've planted 16 churches out of there, haven't you?
Yes, that's right.
So the miracle of up north, hardened to the gospel in some ways, the Lord's used you in a great way.
Yeah, we're getting ready to start a church in Bridgeport, so I'm excited about that. The young man literally came from the hood and came to Bible college, got his hair cut, got a good Bible, and man, he has grown and responded. He's married, has a little baby now. He worked for 2 years with my son David in Terryville, and he's just recently committed, I'm going to start a church in Bridgeport. So I'm really excited about that, because it's only 50 minutes from us, so we can give him a lot of help, and he's got a great personality, and so I'm excited about that.
Well, your ministry has made a huge difference up in the Northeast, and we need more Central Baptist churches, and Jim Townsley's doing that. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast. God bless you.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, consider sharing it with a friend. You can also follow at Dr. Townsley on Twitter or on Facebook at Jim Townsley.